Hi there, this video is about how to claim my Google My Business listing. I am Dr. Kim Christian. So the topics for today, we're going to cover the who, what, where, when, why, and how of Google My Business listing. But first, let me share a little bit about myself. Who's Kim? I am Dr. Kim Christian, and that is a PhD in Business Administration, not medical. So please no medical questions. I will just have to default to spray it with Windex. I live in Arlington, Texas, hence the Arlington SEO services. My professional background includes experience and education in emergency and disaster management. That was kind of my first passion. And then I have owned and still own small businesses. I have also designed websites, believe it or not, for over 20 years now. Yes, 20 years. And I am very experienced and have quite a bit of education in SEO, which is called search engine optimization. And that's mostly for building my own sites and ranking them, and as well as my friends and family. But I have extensive education on that. And I have extensive training and education and experience in digital marketing. And I also teach online marketing strategies. So that's a little bit about me. Now let's get on to Google My Business. So who exactly is this presentation for? First of all, small and medium-sized business owners and marketing managers, because let's face it, if you are a large business owner or manager, you have other people doing this. This is also for people who have unclaimed Google My Business listings. So obviously I targeted you because you have an unclaimed Google My Business listing, but don't worry, this is a completely free presentation, so just stick with me and you will find out more than enough about Google My Business. Now, specifically, this is for those of you looking to improve your online presence. And if you're not looking to improve your online presence, we should probably have a conversation, because I don't know anybody, any business owner or manager that doesn't want to improve their online presence, especially these days. If you're looking to generate leads through online marketing methods, right? That's specifically people who want to generate leads through online marketing methods. And to start, this focuses on your website as the foundation for your online presence. However, if you don't have a website, that's okay. Today's strategy does not require one. What is a Google My Business listing? So Google My Business listing is actually Google's official record of your business. If you don't know what Google is, then I think you've been living under a rock. However, I can't say I don't understand, because I do understand, not knowing all of them out there. And Google is one of the very large search engines out there, where I believe they're pushing 70% of most searches now go through Google. So it's definitely something important, right? And Google's official record of your business means that whatever they have in their records is going to show up across their resources. So when you use the Google My Business tool, you also get access to data to help you understand your audience better. That's specific to Google and your Google listing. And this listing appears in Google properties such as Google Search and Google Maps. And again, like I mentioned, Google Search, that's like 70% of all searches are on Google, right? I think they were pushing close to 70% in the last report on that. And of course, Google Maps shows up in Google searches, especially for local searches. So if your information is in Google, your Google My Business listing is where you would update that information. Where do I find the Google My Business listing? So if you have a Google My Business account, you would find it at google.com/business. And if you don't have one, which if you haven't claimed your listing, you probably don't have one yet, you can also access your information through Google Maps, which is exceptionally easy to do. And so because this is so easy, we're going to talk about this more in the how method a little bit later. When should I claim my Google My Business listing? So Google is constantly changing their search algorithm. Constantly. Every other week there's some new announcement about some change that they're making. So this means that even if you don't claim your listing, you could still show up in searches, but you also may not. Now, some extensive testing, and we do constant testing in the groups that I'm in, that I follow, that the training that I do regularly, the testing that I do. There are plenty of us out there that are testing this all the time, and there are some search results. So, for example, if I'm typing in a search, I'm looking for roofers, that's a search result, right? So I say I'm looking for a roofer, roofer near me, something like that. That's a local search. And some of those results, not necessarily roofer, but some niches, some industries, will not show unclaimed listings in the initial results. In fact, most of the unclaimed listings typically show up towards the end of search results. Now, this can vary. So today, if you go in and search and you're like, oh, hey, my listing is showing up in my search, that could be because it knows that you're you and that you're somehow linked to it. But it could also be because that day you show up, but then 6 other searches or 50 other people that are searching will not necessarily find you. So there's a lot of variation in it, but we have tested over and over and over again, and percentage-wise, unclaimed listings typically show up towards the end of the search results. And this is not good news for local businesses because Google Maps, for example, only pull the top 3 search results. So if you're not in the top 3, you're probably not going to be seen by your local customers. So if you have not claimed your listing, which is why you're here and why I contacted you, you should do it as soon as possible. But you can do this for free. So just sit tight and we'll get you to that point. So why do I need to claim and maintain my Google My Business listing? So since this listing is the official record for Google search results and Google Maps, claiming your listing lets you define the information. This is important for accuracy. For example, if there's a phone number listed on your listing and it's incorrect, you manage it through your Google My Business account. That's how you correct your listing. And it's very important that it's accurate, because if somebody tries to call you and they don't get you, they're going to never try you again. They're going to tell their friends, if somebody asks them, oh, what do you think about such and such a business? They're going to say, oh, I tried calling them, their number doesn't work. Same thing with your website information, etc. In fact, when I'm doing research and finding all of the businesses that need some help with their online marketing methods, I frequently come across inaccurate information. And as a good member of my community, I do report that to Google when I find it, especially if it's like a closed business, because it's very annoying, not just to me, but to you. When you're trying to look for something, you want accurate information. This is why it's important to claim your listing and maintain it. So many tests show that claimed listings show up more regularly in search results and map results. As I mentioned before, unclaimed listings typically don't show up, but even claimed listings do not show up 100% of the time because there's competition, right? You've got, let's say there's 50 people competing for the same spot and they can only show 3 at a time. Google's going to rotate that based on their algorithm. But claimed listings will show up more often than unclaimed listings. So step number 1, claim your listing. And a perfect example of this is our business. I had a security business, which we've since closed, but ironically, it still shows up in listings and I still get phone calls. But because I ranked it really well, right? So we didn't rank. We didn't show up anywhere. People couldn't find us at all. But I went in, claimed my listing, defined all the information, and boom, we show up on Maps and we start getting a dozen calls. And we didn't show up all the time. We didn't show up for all the keywords we wanted to, but we got a lot more phone calls, a lot more leads because of that. So claiming our listing helped us get found, right? So that's why it's really important to claim your listing. So another one, this goes into the next one. So Google may not show your business for your business category. Believe it or not, when I looked up hair salons, I was pulling up roofing companies and contractors and doctors that had nothing to do with hair salons. Why? Because Google pulls information from multiple sources. And if your listing isn't claimed and you haven't defined that, it's going to pull information from your website. It's going to pull information from other sources. It could be a competitor has somehow mentioned a hair salon and your name together, and all of a sudden Google says, oh, you're a hair salon, because you haven't claimed your listing. So claiming your listing helps you define the right categories you show up for. In fact, most of the time, if you start getting phone calls and they're like, oh, hey, I'm calling about a dentist appointment, and you're like, wait a second, I'm a roofing company. It's usually because somehow you've been listed incorrectly. Now that's an extreme, but it can happen. Now this one is an extremely remote possibility because you obviously have to have extremely deceptive people to do this, but there is the possibility someone else claims your listing, which then makes it difficult for you to fix later. Now this is slim, but there is a chance. I have heard of people, nobody I've ever worked with, but I have had other people in the industry in very competitive markets like locksmith, for example, where somebody hadn't claimed their listing and a competitor went and claimed it, which I'm not going to tell you how it happens, but it does happen. And they changed the phone number. They kept all the information, but just changed the phone number to them. And so now every time that person did anything, any of their information showed up, they got a good star rating, people, from whatever business. Now people see that and go, oh, look, they've got a good rating, and I'm going to go ahead and call them. Now they call the business that had stole their listing. So it's very difficult to fix after that. So, you really should make sure that you claim your listing. Now, one of the best benefits of the Google My Business listing is that you can actually reply to reviews. Negative, positive, it doesn't matter. You can reply to any reviews. You can invite people back. You can follow up with them. If they come and say, hey, I had a great experience, you can thank them for that, which is really great customer service right there, right? I mean, you get to really get in there, talk with your customers, let them know you care, and you can do that just simply by replying to reviews. And if somebody's upset about it, if they're showing a review on there that's bad and you reply to it and say, hey, we'd like to make this right, blah, 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 a customer viewing that is going to be more likely to see that as, okay, hey, they're really trying to do customer service here. So I'm either going to A, ignore that negative review, or B, give them a chance because they're willing to work it out, right? So there's always just that connection and positive element is just really beneficial. Now, another element is you can manage information changes. Phone numbers are frequently changed because of one reason or another. You change your service provider and all of a sudden your phone number is no longer working. You have to quick get a new phone number. That's never happened to me. It has. And so you need to manage your information so that you can update it with the correct phone number that can get to you. You also get exclusive data. With your Google My Business account will give you insights into the types of customers that are visiting you, what they're doing, what they're clicking on, etc. And that will help you kind of fine-tune your strategy. All right, now we're down to how do I claim my Google My Business listing? So the easiest method is to head on over to Google Maps, and if you just do maps.google.com, that'll forward you to Google Maps. You find your listing, just type in your business name, right? And then if it pulls up, you'll usually see something like this, and you can tell that I've blocked out a lot of information here because a lot of your information is in there and I don't want to call anybody out in here. But you'll see this claim this business right there. And you just click on it and you follow the instructions that pop up. So if you're like, oh, hey, I got into Maps, I typed in my business and I didn't find it because maybe a friend sent you this or something, then you just need to go to google.com/business, you need to create an account, and then you submit your business information. And you just follow that. Now, if you're like, hey, you know what, Kim, this sounds great, but this is a little complicated to me. I don't know what to do. I don't know the next steps. This is just beyond my expertise. I don't have time for this, whatever it is. If you're like, hey, I need some help, right? Then that's what I do. This is what I do. I do digital marketing. So online marketing, anything online marketing I can pretty much do. And while claiming your business is minuscule in that, and if that's all you need help with, then reach out to me. We'll see if we can work something out. But if you have a website, send me an email, give me a call, and I'll run a free website audit, and we can assess your needs. And then maybe we make that as part of a whole thing that we do for you. If you don't have a website, yes, you do need one. And I'm not just saying that because I do build websites, because I've been building websites for 20 years. Why? Because they're necessary. 20 years ago, if you were to say, hey, do I need a website? I would have told you yes. Why? Because we are in an increasingly digital world, and more people are going to the internet to find the answers to their questions. If you're not there, if they can't find you online, you don't exist. It's kind of one of those weird things in the world now. It's like, hey, I'm physically here, but if I'm not online, I don't exist, especially if you're a business. Businesses need to be online. People need to know that you are real and you're legitimate. They look for social presence, they look for everything, right? But let's start with the website. If you don't have one, you need one, and I can build one for you. So reach out to me, we'll talk about your needs, and we will then, explore what we can do and how we can match that up. And of course, beyond the website, I also offer other online marketing services. I mentioned SEO, search engine optimization, but it's really more like visibility campaigns. We're getting your presence out there. We could talk about that if that's really what your concern is. And, really we need to talk about what your needs are, what your goals are, and how we can match you up with those, right? That's kind of like where I like to be. So my passion is, of course, helping small businesses, and as that I do offer a do-it-yourself marketing information. If you're looking for strategies, you can join my Facebook group. That is not really local specific, but it does have some marketing strategies, and you can easily apply it to local businesses. So you can also, network with other business owners that are out there. Typically, most of them are in e-commerce right now, but as we grow, that could expand to other places. So you'll find that the contact information somewhere on here. And in the meantime, if you have any questions and you're ready to get started, again, I'm Dr. Kim Christian, Kimberly.Christian@pinpointlocal.com. That's my email. Pinpoint Local is my franchise. It's here. I serve Arlington, Fort Worth, Forest Hill, and of course, if you're anywhere else in the world, it's an international company, and we can definitely connect you with the correct resources for your locale. And again, my phone number is listed, and you can check out the arlingtonseoservices.com website, and that is my local lead generation website that has my local presence. And in the meantime, please get your Google My Business listing claimed. If you don't want to do it, if you want some help, reach out to me. And of course, I'm here to help you with any of your digital marketing needs, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.